We just gonna get right into this one, man. I don't think it's any time to waste. Today, I'm here to talk about the Houston Rockets, and something that really grinds my gears is one thing that they're doing. So I can understand, tanking, rebuilding teams. The NBA needs those, okay? Teams need to rebuild. At one point when they reach a standstill, when things aren't working out, they need to restart, and that's what the Houston Rockets did. But they're doing a very, very, very bad job at it, and I just gotta talk about it in today's video. We gotta talk about the Houston Rockets of before. We know this team was one that had some very, very, very great years during the 2010s, but ultimately James Harden and Houston, they had to part ways. It just wasn't working, and that trade right there should have told the whole story. So talking about the James Harden trade, of course, we know the players they got back were Dante Exum, Victor Oladipo, I believe it was somebody else in some picks. Like, bro, James Harden is one of the best players we've ever seen in this league. He is an electrifying scorer, one of the greatest scorers of all time, an MVP, rejuvenated Houston Rockets basketball, the second greatest Houston Rocket of all time. And all you get for him is Victor Oladipo. Yes, I'm saying his name wrong on purpose. Victor Oladipo, Dante Exum, and picks. Like, it's funny because I feel like the Nets got off better than they did. The Cleveland Cavaliers, who were a throw-in, got a all-star center for free, literally for free. Even the Indiana Pacers did well in getting Karis LeVert and able to trade him for Ricky Rubio and a future first-round pick. Like, I'm just baffled. But that happened. Whatever. It's fine. They wanted a clean slate. They want to freshly start over. You clear cap, you move everything, you get off of these vet pieces that you have and just have a youth movement. That's what they did. Started off with a lucky trade, you can say, the opportunity that they had to get Kevin Porter Jr., who I like Kevin Porter Jr. in Cleveland. If you guys don't know, I'm a Cleveland Cavaliers fan. He was an exciting player to watch. It's unfortunate that it ended the way it ended, but it was a step in the right direction for them. A lot of people said, oh my God, the Cavaliers got fleeced, yada, 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 yada. Yeah, we can talk about that a little bit more later. And then in that draft, they were able to select Jalen Green with the second overall pick, which confused a lot of people as well, because if you have Jalen Green, if you have Kevin Porter Jr., how are the two going to mesh? And so far, I don't know if it's been good, but I don't know if it's been bad either. But then came a large assortment of other players like Josh Christopher and Jabari Smith, Kenyon Martin Jr., Usman Garuba, Alfred Sengun, Hari Eason. They just stockpiled a lot of young players, but I don't know if that's really been good for them. So what's been going bad for the Houston Rockets? Because they're in year 3 technically of their rebuild. They currently sit as the worst team in NBA, which, I mean, in their sake, if they're looking to get the number 1 overall pick, I guess that's good. But what's the direction? Where are they headed? Because I'm gonna be honest, if you're a rebuilding team, once you get to year 3, that's when you have to really start making those moves to solidify your roster, and don't really look like they're doing that. There's still a lot of questions to be answered on this team, like who will be the head coach of the future? Who will be the point guard of the future? I mean, who is your franchise guy? Because this might be a bold take or not, but we don't even know that. We don't even know if Jalen Green is going to be that guy. Let's dive deeper. Let's really, deconstruct this roster. Let's see what's going right. Let's see what's going wrong, because, or no, it's a lot going wrong. Breaking down the roster, I feel like we have to start with the supposed guide to bring them back to, NBA popularity. What's the word? NBA decency, to a decent team in Jalen Green. Jalen Green was the second overall pick in the 2021 NBA draft. He gained a lot of comparisons to guys like Zach LaVine, and even extreme comparisons to like Kobe Bryant, which I just always crazy. But who cares what I think? I don't know what to make of Jalen Green, because he's only 21. So you when you talk about these young players, you have to talk about them with, you can't really say anything too crazy, because this is just his second season. But it's no secret that Jalen Green has been inefficient. He's a shot chucker. He's turns the ball over a lot. He does not play a lick of defense. I don't know, man. I mean, can you really say he's anything more than a guy who has a long leash on a rebuilding team? And does his style of play really lead to winning basketball? We have obviously yet to see that. I don't know what to make of Jalen Green, because this might be a bold take, this might not be. I don't think he's going to be that franchise guy for the Rockets. I think it's going to be somebody else on his team who I'll get to later. But besides him, it's his co-partner in that backcourt and Kevin Porter Jr. Like I said earlier, we know where Kevin Porter Jr. came from. He was traded from the Cleveland Cavaliers, and he kind of does the things that Jalen Green does, but to a lesser extent. I mean, he does chuck up a lot of shots, and he's not as inefficient as Jalen Green is. He's more of a playmaker than Jalen Green is, but those two are just not a good fit at all. I think there's no way that those two can be your backcourt of the future. I'm sorry, because They are both severe ball stoppers. So I think in the very, very near future, honestly, the Rockets should look to move on from one or the other, and the obvious candidate will be Kevin Porter Jr. I truly think, considering the contract that he got, which is essentially a one-year deal, he'll be moved this offseason. If not, he can be moved as soon as the trade deadline. But like I said, I don't think that Jalen Green is the franchise player for this team. I think the franchise player for this team is Alperen Sengun. I'm going to dive deeper into why I believe that. Now, Alperen Sengun is in that mode of the Sabonises and the Jokic's. Very, very, very great passer for a big man. He's an excellent rebounder. He has great post work to maneuver in the post and just have some pretty finishes down low. And he can step out and hit the mid-range. And his defense is actually pretty good. He has a pretty high basketball IQ, especially for someone who's just 20 years old. A 6'11", about 250-pound center. I mean, that's your center of the future right there. That's your cornerstone piece. I believe it's just about him progressing as a player. The coach is giving him more opportunities. It doesn't make sense as to why he's only playing 27 minutes a game. That's ludicrous. When he plays a lot of minutes, he produces a lot. So it makes no sense as to why he isn't. And that falls on the coaching and Stephen Silas, who we might as well talk about him. He would be a great players coach, an assistant. I can truly see him like that. But when you need somebody to point players, young players at that, in the right direction, I don't think he's your guy. The biggest thing for a rebuild is you're going to need a culture setter. You're going to need somebody who can point these young guys in the right direction to mold them, because when you're young, that's when you're going to learn the most. That's when you're going to pick up on those tendencies. And then just talking about the rest of the team, it's, what can you really say? I mean, Jabari Smith, I like a lot. I think Jabari Smith is going to be the secondary piece to that team. There's Tari Eason, who I really like. Josh Christopher, I like, who for some odd reason is not getting any minutes right now. We're going to talk about him a little bit later. Usman Garuba. They got a nice assortment of players. It's just about getting rid of those. Maybe not getting rid of. I feel like getting rid of is bad terminology. It's about adjusting, making those pieces that I just named the guys you really work on, and everybody else, I guess, on the outside looking in. So when I talk about rebuilds, a team that I think is a good base to start off is recently what we've seen from the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, the Cleveland Cavaliers, what they did is they made the aggressive move in 2019, despite having already drafted Colin Sexton to get Darius Garland. He was your franchise piece. What did they do after that? They put pieces around him to further enhance his development. They fired John Beilein, got him out of there. They brought in JB Bickerstaff to be that culture setter. That's what the Rockets need to do. They need to get rid of Stephen Silas, bring in somebody who can be that culture setter for you. Team construction is just very iffy, because you have Josh Christopher, you have Kevin Porter Jr., Jalen Green. They also drafted Ty Washington, who you can say demands some type of minutes. That's already 4 guards that you have on this team. And when we look at the big man, there's Usman Garuba. There is the wing position. You have Tari Eason. You have Jabari Smith. There's also guys like Kenyon Martin Jr., who literally already requested a trade. As young as he is, to be requesting a trade is insane. There's just too many young players on this team and not enough minutes to go around. And not to mention, the veteran presence on this team is lacking very badly. I mean, the one veteran they have is Eric Gordon, and he is miserable. In every single interview you see him in, he never smiles. He's always talking down on the team. He's talking down on the players. I mean, I haven't really ever seen anything like it. This team is one of the worst in the league, so they are going to have a high draft pick. And that's where you look to take a Victor Wembanyama. Of course, if you get the number 1 overall pick, or a Scoot Henderson would be very good for this team. But if you don't luck out to the top 2, there's one of the Thompson twins who I'd really like to see them add. Nick Smith would be a good add. I just don't want to see them add another shot-chucking guard, because they've done that the last 2 years. And please, for the love of God, give Josh Christopher some minutes, because the reason as to why he's not getting any just doesn't make sense. Because you talk about his defense, oh, he's lacking in that end. The Rockets as a whole ain't playing no damn defense, so why is he in the doghouse because of it? Or it's, oh my, he's a ball stopper on offense. I mean, ain't like the ball swinging much anyway. Look who you got on the team. The roster construction is the biggest issue on this team, and it's time to fix that. It's time to trade Kevin Porter Jr. It's time to get Stephen Silas out of there and bring in a head coach who actually knows what he's doing to formulate an offensive system that works. Like I said, the foundation is there. We just have to point some guys in the right direction, and I think it starts with coaching, starts with putting players in the best position to succeed. That's how you win NBA games, and I would hope that the Rockets would like to start doing that really soon.